everyone, my name is Nur Alya Shalsadhila. I'm from 10 Social 1. Today I would like to tell you about my story. The title is Princess Tandampalik. Once upon a time, in an area in South Sulawesi province, there was a kingdom named Kerajaan Luwu. This kingdom was led by a king or datu named Labu Satana Datu Maungge, or often called Raja Luwu or Datu Luwu. He was just wise and wise king, so that his people live a prosperous and safe life. Datu Luwu has a beautiful and well-behaved daughter. Her name is Princess Tandampalik. News of her beauty and good temper has spread to various countries in South Sulawesi. One day, the king of Bone wanted to marry his son to Princess Tandampalik. He also sent several police guards to the Luwu kingdom to propose to the princess. Arriving at the Luwu palace, the envoy was greeted warmly by Datu Luwu. "My goodness, sir, we are the envoys of the king of Bone," reported a messenger while saluting Datu Luwu. "If I may know, what the hell was you guys sent by your king to our place?" asked Datu Luwu with great authority. "My goodness, sir, please allow us to convey the king of Bone's proposal for his son to the king's daughter named Princess Tandampalik." The messenger replied respectfully. Hearing that proposal, Datu Luwu was silent for a moment. She was confused about making a decision whether to accept or reject it, because in the custom of the Luwu kingdom, a Luwu girl was not allowed to marry a young man from another country. However, if the proposal was rejected, he was afraid that there would be a very terrible war between the two kingdoms, which would make the people suffer. After a moment or two, Datu Luwu was still at a loss to give an answer. "Oh, messenger, you need to know that in the Luwu kingdom, a customary law applies. That is, a Luwu princess may not marry a young man from another country. For that, please convey to your king, so that I will be given a few days to think about his proposal," said Datu Luwu. The king of Bone envoys understood Datu Luwu's decision. They returned to the Bone kingdom to deliver the news to the king of Bone. The next day, suddenly the country of Luwu was in an uproar. Princess Tandampalik was stricken with leprosy. His whole body was saturated with a thick liquid that smelled rank and very disgusting. The palace doctor said that Princess Tandampalik was attacked by a very dangerous infectious disease. News about the disaster that befell the princess has spread throughout the country. The people of Luwu were deeply saddened by the illness suffered by their beloved princess. After some thought and consideration, Datu Luwu decided to exile his daughter to a place far away. He is worried that his daughter's disease will spread to all his people. "My daughter, for the safety of all the people in this country, would you be willing if father exiled you to another area?" asked the king of Luwu to his daughter. "If that is the best way, Ananda will accept my father's decision with pleasure," replied the princess, accepting her father's decision sincerely. With a heavy heart, Datu Luwu was forced to part with the daughter he loved so much. The princess went by boat with several palace guards. Before leaving, Datu Luwu gave an heirloom keris to Princess Tandampalik as a sign that she had never forgotten, let alone abandoned her child. After preparing all the supplies they needed, they went to an area far from the Luwu kingdom. For months, they had been sailing without direction or purpose. One day, they saw an island from a distance. "Look, princess!" exclaimed a guard pointing towards the island. "Finally, we also found the island," replied the princess with a sense of relief. The guards were increasingly pedalling their boat closer to the island. "Wow, "What a beautiful view! Looks like the island has not been touched by humans," said the other bodyguards in awe. Not long after, they arrived on the island. A guard who first set foot on the island found wajau fruit. The guard then picked some wajau fruit seeds for the princess. "I give this island the name Wajau Island," said the princess when she received the fruit. Since then, Princess Tandampalik and her bodyguards have started a new life. They live with simplicity. Even so, they continue to work hard, full of enthusiasm and joy. Days turned to days, weeks turned to weeks, months turned months. It didn't feel like a year they had been there. Once upon a time, Princess Tandampalik was sitting on the shore of a lake in the middle of the island. Suddenly, a white buffalo approached and licked the princess's skin gently. Initially, the princess was about to throw him out. However, the animal looked tame and continued to lick it. Finally, he just let it go. How miraculous! After being reportedly licked by the buffalo, the skin of the princess, which was oozing out, suddenly disappeared without a trace. The princess's skin returned to being smooth and clean as before. The princess was touched and thanked God because her illness had become cured. He then told his guards, "From now on, I ask you not to slaughter or eat the white buffalo on this island, because the animal has cured my illness." The princess's request was immediately fulfilled by all her bodyguards. Until now, white buffalo on Wajau Island have been allowed to live freely and breed. Then by the local community, the white buffalo is revered to as Sakoli. One day, Wajau Island arrived by a group of hunters. They were the crown prince of the Bone Kingdom, who was accompanied by an Andre Guru. Pakan Ranyang, the commander of the Bone Kingdom, and several of his bodyguards, because he was so busy hunting. The crown prince of Kimbone did not realize that he had separated from his entourage and got lost in the forest. He kept shouting for the commander and his guards. "Commander-in-chief! Pengawal! I'm here! Where are you?" Many times the crown prince shouted, but there was no answer. Towards evening, he decided to rest under a large tree because he was tired all day hunting. The night was getting late. The crown prince could not close his eyes. The sounds of the night animals kept him awake and restless in the middle of the dark night. Suddenly, he saw a light from a distance. The longer it took, the light beam got brighter. He was very curious to know. He then ventured to find the source of that light. With limping, the crown prince tried to walk on his feet and walk through the darkness of the night. Finally, he arrived in a village that was busy with people's houses. After he entered the village, the light source became increasingly clear in an apparently empty house. With slow steps, the crown prince approached and entered the house. How shocked he was when he saw a girl who was so beautiful as an angel was boiling water in the house. This beautiful girl is none other than Princess Tandampalik. "Oh my God! I dream my life. This is the first time I have seen such a beautiful girl," said the crown prince in awe. Princess Tandampalik, who felt the arrival of guests, suddenly turned her head. The princess stuttered, "This young man is very handsome, but who is he, and where did he come from? Looks like he's not a resident here," said the princess to herself. Then the two of them became acquainted. In a short time, the two of them had gotten along well. Princess Tandampalik was amazed by the subtlety of the crown prince's language. Even though he was a future king, he was very polite and humble. On the other hand, for the crown prince, Princess Tandampalik was a girl who was graceful and not arrogant. Her beauty and simple appearance made the crown prince amazed and immediately put his heart. However, the crown prince could not linger on Wajau Island to accompany Princess Tandampalik because He had to return to his country to complete some of his obligations to the Bone Palace. Since the journey from Wajo Island to the Bone Kingdom, the Crown Prince always remembered Princess Tandampalik's beautiful face. I want the Crown Prince to live on Wajo Island. And Reguru Pakan Nyareng, who first arrived in the land of Bone after separating from the Crown Prince on Wajo Island, know what his king's son felt. He often saw the Crown Prince sitting alone on the edge of the lake, because he didn't want to see his master continue to be sad. Andre Guru Pakan Nyareng immediately went to him and told him all the events they had experienced on Wajo Island. My goodness, Your Majesty. The servant suggests that Your Majesty the King immediately apply for Princess Tandampalik, suggests Andre Guru Pakan Nyareng. After hearing all the stories and suggestions from Andre Guru, the King of Bone immediately sent several of his bodyguards to accompany the Crown Prince to apply for Princess Tandampalik on Wajo Island. Arriving on the island, Princess Tandampalik did not immediately accept the Crown Prince's proposal. He only gave the cherished heirloom of the Luwu Kingdom that his father gave him when he was exiled. Sorry, gentlemen, I can't accept your application yet. Bring this carriage to my father. If my father accepts this carriage, it means that your application is accepted, said the princess while handing Prince Desir to go alone to the Luwu Kingdom. The journey for this is full of enthusiasm. On arrival at the Luwu Kingdom, the Crown Prince told of his meeting with Princess Tandampalik and handed over the heirloom carriage to Datu Luwu. Datu Luwu and the Empress were delighted to hear the good news. Datu Luwu was very impressed with the Crown Princess temperament. Datu Luwu felt that the Crown Prince was a persistent young man, spoke softly, politely, and full of enthusiasm. Without thinking anymore, Datu Luwu accepted the heirloom carriage sincerely. This means that the Crown Prince's application is accepted. Without waiting long, Datu Luwu and the Empress came to visit Wajo Island to meet her beloved daughter. Datu Luwu's meeting with his only daughter was very touching. I'm sorry, son. Father has thrown you into this place. Datu Luwu apologized as he hugged his daughter. No, father. In fact, father should be grateful because the people of Luwu are protected from the infectious disease that befell me, said Princess Tandampalik. A few days later, Princess Tandampalik married the Crown Prince of King of Bone on Wajo Island. Their wedding party was very lively. The entire family of the two great kingdoms in South Sulawesi were very happy with the wedding. Princess Tandampalik and the Crown Prince lived happily. Several years later, the Crown Prince ascended the throne. He became a wise king. Then their happiness increases. There are several lessons to be learned from the above four tales, including being wise, polite, humble, or not arrogant. The nature of wisdom is reflected in the nature of Datu Luwu. He was very wise in making the decision to exile his beloved daughter to a faraway place, for the sake of the safety of the people so as not to catch her daughter leprosy. The nature of being humble or not arrogant is reflected in the nature of the Crown Prince of the King of Bone. Even as a future king, he always spoke soft words to anyone. Even as a future king, he always spoke soft words to anyone, was humble and not arrogant. All of these qualities are considered praiseworthy qualities that shall be followed in everyday life. The wise nature of a person will be a pleasure for the owner. When he becomes a wise teacher, the teacher will be liked by his students. A wise leader is usually respected by friends and foes. Likewise, wise parents will be loved by their children. There are several ways to be a wise person, including being unemotional, unselfish, and having compassion for others. First, not emotional, which is skillful in controlling oneself from anger, ovens, and temperamental. Emotional people will be busy defending themselves and striking back. is unwise because what he's looking for is personal victory, not truth itself. Second, not selfish, namely people who do not want good for themselves. A wise person is someone who is willing to sacrifice for others, not sacrifice of others for his own benefit. Third, have the nature of affection for fellow humans. A wise person will always love others, without having to be indiscriminate. His affection is not only for one party or group, but evenly for all groups. Meanwhile, being humble is one of the praiseworthy qualities in the culture of the Malay people. According to Tenas Effendi, this trait has been perpetuated from generation to generation in their life as their identity. It is said that the term Malay also comes from withering oneself, namely humbling, being gentle, and being kind. Therefore, Malays generally stay away from being arrogant, avoid being arrogant and arrogant, avoid speaking harshly, and don't want to raise themselves. The Malay elders said, Malay custom is always humble. To be humble is mean here to be humble with face and soft in the tongue, not humble or courtly. Humility is a reflection of generosity, sincerity, self-knowledge, and respect for others. And thank you guys. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.